In today's Hockey 101, we're going to be discussing lines, zones, icing, and offside. I bet if you're anything like me, you've looked at a hockey rink before and it can be a little bit confusing. Lines, red dots, and what does it all mean? Well, there are 5 lines running widthwise on any hockey rink. The one going down the center is called the center line, and that has the face-off circle. The face-off circle is used at the beginning of every period and after every goal has been scored for the face-off. Then you have the 2 blue lines. They're called the blue lines. They create the neutral zone in the middle of the rink. The blue lines are used to call offside infractions. Then you have the 2 lines at either end of the goalie nets, and those are called the goal lines. They're used to call icing. The blue lines create the neutral zone, and then on either side of the blue lines you have the offensive and the defensive zones. And depending on if you're the home or the away team, your offensive and defensive zones are going to be different.
Okay, ladies, now we're going to talk about offside and icing. Now, offside simply means that an opposing player is crossed into the offensive zone before the puck. When that happens, when the opposing player crosses the blue line before the puck, play is stopped, there's a face-off on the offside circle, the play starts up again. Now, icing happens when a player shoots the puck from their own end all the way down the ice into the other team's end, and the other team touches the puck first. When that happens, play stops, the puck is brought back down the ice, there's a face-off in the offensive zone. That's icing and offside.
Today's fun fact, we're going to talk about the greatest goalie story ever. Now, this was a hard one because there's 1,000 goalie stories I could choose from. Shutouts, unbelievable stops, phenomenal careers. But the one I've chosen to talk about is Lester Patrick, 1928. Before I get into what he did as a goalie, I want to talk about who the Patrick family was. Frank and Lester, along with their family, moved from the east of Canada to the west, to the Kootenays in about 1907, and they opened up a timber company with their father. The boys growing up in the east played hockey and had a dream of moving a professional ice hockey team to the west coast. Along with their father, who they convinced to share some of his timber holdings with his company, they were able to privately fund the first arena to ever open up in Vancouver on Denman Street, dubbed the Pile. They also opened up another arena in Victoria. Both Frank and Lester went on to continue careers as players and coaches and other jobs within professional hockey. But in 1928, Lester Patrick was the head coach of the New York Rangers. They were in the Stanley Cup Finals playing the Montreal Maroons. Well, a Maroons player took a shot. It hit the New York Rangers goalie in the eye, and he was out of the game. The officials gave Patrick and the rest of the team 10 minutes to find a replacement goalie, because at this time, not all teams had a backup goalie. Lester Patrick knew that there was an Ottawa goaltender in the stands, but the Montreal head coach said, "No way, you can't do that." So Patrick went through his entire roster, and by the end of it, his roster actually said to him, "Why don't you go in net?" So he suited up and went in net. He stopped all the shots that came towards him except for one, tying up the game. They went into overtime, but the Rangers still ended up winning. And the Montreal Maroons fans gave Lester Patrick a standing ovation. So there you go. I have successfully linked up one of the greatest goalie stories ever to hockey moving to the West Coast. Our Heart of the Week goes to Pavol Demitra, dubbed the best hockey player ever from Slovakia. Because of this, he played 16 seasons in the NHL, and his last 2 he played for the Vancouver Canucks. He also played for the Slovakian national team on many occasions, but he did play in the Vancouver 2010 Olympics, and he was the highest point scorer in the entire tournament. He beat Sidney Crosby. He played for his national team on many occasions. He did 2 World Cups, 3 Olympics, and 6 World Championships. He was captain of his team at the Torino Olympics, and he also wore the C at the World Championships in 2011. Demitra scored many goals during his NHL career, but his first goal as a Canuck came in his 2nd game in overtime. He scored to win the game. Demitra, you will forever be missed, and you will always be in our hearts.
Back to Wisnowski, in for Hossa. Here it Hossa shoots, tipped in from below, go down, Demitra, oh, he hit the goal post. Oh, what a save. Pavol Demitra had a glorious chance to tie it, and he is crushed. It's Roberto Luongo against his teammate in Vancouver, Pavol Demitra. He shuts